Welcome to this episode of Island by Film. My name is Wes. I've been looking for a sturdy, compact point and shoot that could fit into my everyday carry. Something reliable with a great lens, manual controls, and film-like aesthetics. I looked at the usual suspects, the Fuji X106, the Leica Q3, and even the Ricoh GR series, and while they're beautiful cameras, I just couldn't justify the prices that they're going for. That's when I came across the Pentax MX-1. A premium compact from 2013 and a digital homage to the original Pentax MX 35mm film camera, it brings that same spirit forward with its solid build, manual controls, and classic looks. It's still surprisingly capable in 2025. Let's start with the build quality. This camera feels like something from another era, with brass top and bottom plates, a textured rubber grip, and a dedicated exposure compensation dial. This thing radiates classic charm. Over time, the black paint begins to wear at the edges, revealing the brass underneath, just like a classic film camera, adding to it some character that makes you want to carry this every day. At just under 400 grams, the MX-1 carries a sense of seriousness without feeling bulky. Now let's talk about what's inside. The Pentax MX-1 uses a 12 megapixel 1/1.7 inch back illuminated CMOS sensor. And while the numbers might seem dated, the results are anything but. It also features sensor shift image stabilization, which helps you get sharper handheld shots, especially in lower light or at longer focal lengths. This camera shoots raw files with surprising depth, excellent tonality, and beautiful dynamic range. The RAWs hold up in post. You can lift shadows, pull back highlights, and still retain detail and texture without things falling apart. But the real magic comes from the lens. This is a 6 to 24 millimeter zoom, which gives you an equivalent 28 to 112 millimeter full frame equivalent focal length. The aperture is also very fast. f1.8 at the wide end and f2.5 at the telephoto. That's a huge advantage in low light and gives you more control over depth of field than most compacts can offer. The lens itself is tack sharp across the frame, even wide open. It has just the right amount of character with smooth fall off, minimal distortion, and excellent contrast. Pentax really did something special here. It's not just a decent lens for a compact, it's a spectacular lens, period. But what really surprised me was how versatile this camera is. It's compact, it's discreet, and it covers everything from wide street scenes to tight portraits, all while keeping image quality high. And then there's the macro mode. The MX-1 boasts an impressive minimum focusing distance of just 1 centimeter. 1 centimeter. You can get right up into your subject, such as a flower petal, the texture of a leaf, the grooves on a coin, and still achieve crisp, detailed focus. Pair that with the f1.8 and you can create dreamy, shallow depth of field shots that rival cameras with much larger sensors. It's the kind of feature you don't expect from a compact camera, but once you use it, you'll want to use it often. Another feature that caught me off guard is its pop-up flash. It's small, but it's actually really well designed and perfect for those harsh direct light images that give off a vintage point and shoot vibe. Whether you're photographing people indoors, snapping snapshots at night, or just leaning into that bold, contrasty look, this flash delivers. It's ideal for that gritty 90s style aesthetic. In terms of control, you've got a single rear dial and a front zoom rocker. Not the most advanced setup, but enough to keep the shooting experience quick and intuitive. There's also a tilting LCD screen which makes it easy to shoot from the hip or get low angle shots. Perfect for street photography or creative compositions. There's no EVF, no touch screen, and that's kind of the beauty of it. You focus more on the moment. So why did I add the MX-1 to my everyday carry? It slows me down in the best way. It fits in my bag easily. It's rugged enough to handle the bumps of life. and the results speak for themselves. The MX-1 has that rare balance between form and function, where it looks great, feels great, and just makes you want to shoot. But of course, it's not without its flaws. There are a few downsides to keep in mind, especially if you're coming from more modern gear. First off, there's no viewfinder. You'll be composing everything using the LCD, which works well most of the time, but can be a challenge in really bright outdoor conditions, which could really be a deal breaker for some people. Secondly, you can't manually focus using the lens itself. There's no physical focus ring. The manual focus has to be done through the menu and rear dial, which isn't intuitive and can slow you down when precision is needed. And finally, low light performance is where the MX starts to show its age. That 1/1.7 inch sensor just doesn't compete with modern larger sensors when the sun goes down. You'll start to see noise creep up past ISO 800, and pushing it further means sacrificing detail. So while the lens is fast and the images in good light are gorgeous, this isn't the camera you want to rely on for late night street work or dim interiors. Still, for what it is, and especially for what it costs, these trade-offs are pretty easy to live with, and none of them have stopped me from reaching for this camera almost every day. Now in 2025, a 12 megapixel compact camera might sound completely irrelevant. But if you're someone who cares more about the experience, lens quality, and capturing the moment with intention, then this camera still makes perfect sense. It's not connected, it's not smart, it's just good. If you come across one of these for under $500, I'd say grab it. It's one of those rare pieces of gear that still feels alive every time you use it. 1 month in, and the Panasonic MX-1 has become one of my favorite cameras to shoot with. It's not perfect, it's not modern, but it's just real. And in today's world, that's what makes it special. Thanks for watching. If you're into content like this, hit subscribe to stay updated. My name is Wes, and this is Island by Film. See you in the next one.